Assalamu alaikum. I'm Malik Hodge, an Indian warrior of the Midwest, and a messenger of the covenant, representing the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, the self-taught one, Master Suleiman, who's given us the Injil, the Gospel of Revelations, with the Injil key that gives us the understanding of the unsealed scriptures. We're going to begin this presentation with a reminder of the Holocaust, the 466 years of terror that we have endured here in America. They want to call it critical race theory. They want to lessen what we've been through in this Holocaust. It's not a theory of what the black man and woman went through. It's a fact, and many facts. And you will soon see this Holocaust that we went through, their judgment, and they're being judged, and the consequence for this Holocaust. We were taken from our land, brought, enslaved, and slavery is not what we went through. They want to make it sound like slavery. However, slavery is just minimum overhead for maximum profit. We were beat, whooped, castrated, mutilated, amputated, hands, feet, arms, legs, heads. We were hunted and beheaded like we were a trophy, like they do bears, tigers, lions, elk. They had nigger heads, black man heads on a stick on for trophies. They took ears, noses as souvenirs after lynching, or that's what it was, after a lynching. A lynching, what is a lynching that we went through on festival days? They just want to lynch. That's a hanging or a burning or a taking a black man or woman, just hanging them up and torturing them to death or hanging them. That's what a lynching is. That's what they was doing. So we're not going to let them get away with lessening what they have done. They dehumanized us. We were no longer humans in their eyes. We never was here in America. We had no human rights. We were animals. We were pickaninnies, bucks, pups, tortured. Our language was taken. Our knowledge, our culture, everything about us was taken from America. We was taken down to nothing. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. And that was how they wanted us to stay. As nothing up under their foot. They had us eating shit. Excuse me, that's what we was eating. We wasn't eating chitterlings. We were eating literally just cow shit. They was taking the cow dump and feeding us that. Frying cow shit. Because they didn't want to spend no money. It's minimum overhead for maximum profit. So days they didn't have no shitterlings, no wheat or corn hulls and things to grind up and give to you. They just went behind the cattle and picked up the shit and fried it up and fed you that. So the manure, let me say it like that. That's a more appropriate language for it. But this shit, manure, just cow shit, but manure. Picked that up and fried it and called it chips. And we had to eat that. So, brothers and sisters, understand the consequence for what they've done. They must pay. So they're never. I ain't gonna say never. No. Because they gonna be singing a song here in a minute about what they've done. Oh, they gonna sing a song when here at any. You hear me? They gonna sing a song. And they gonna want to repent then. Oh, no, it's too late. Because they're going to get back double for what they done to us. In this Holocaust of 466 years, they're going to receive all that horror and terror and affliction back on them, all pressed down into a 1 year period. That's why it's called unprecedented trouble. So, brothers and sisters, you will be a fool to want to stay in the land of your enemies, your slave masters. All this mixing and what would cause that when your people been put in this horde, your forefathers and mothers has been fed shit, taken, then given a master's name as a tag or a branding on you. You're Mr. Amber Simpleton or Mark Johnson or Mark Jackson, Tony Dickerson. All the you were running around here, then running around here and wanna marry Massa's daughter and get with one of these devils after they done fed you shit, manure and shitterlings, just gave you a little shack to live in. Clothes, you rarely had them. wore them from uh, from 8 years old to 10 years old. The same ones repatching them, trying to they didn't grew up your leg. But we're not gonna forget it. We're gonna keep it in the forefront, and they're definitely their day is here. They're being judged as we speak. Their horror and terror, this time of unprecedented trouble that we went through, that's they're up under this super unprecedented trouble that they're about to witness, they're about to go through. So this is a Holocaust, brothers and sisters. If you know, you let this go, your ancestors will curse you and will curse you and in judgment. So let's get to our topic of the day. Minorities. And that money stopped coming to the minorities and was being shipped to false Israel. False Israel has took our identity, and they've been just lying across the board, making claims that they're the true seed of Abraham, that they're God's chosen people, that they've been through 400 years of horror and terror. But they can't prove any of it. So, for what they the first that are going to get taken out, destroyed. So, this abomination of desolation, we've made it here. We have the 2020 event, the plague being released on the Caucasian white man. The Caucasian nations was decimated by the plague. It didn't pass over false Israel. False Israel has had more per number of people in by country. False Israel has well exceeded the most to receive jabs and boosters. They were decimated by the plague. It didn't pass them over. So, this vision of the Abrahamic covenant that we're bringing in, we didn't live through this time of unprecedented trouble, live through this time of relentless terror and horror. We've been in a land that is not ours for 466 years. To the time that the God showed up and gave us the knowledge of who we are, the gods, and gave us the knowledge of our open enemy. So we've received this knowledge. Excuse me. However, they wanted to block us from accepting, block us from this knowledge, and keep the truth hidden. So they to counter the truth, they countered it with putting false Israel in Palestine, in Jerusalem. And they called them the true seed of Abraham. They called them the chosen people. Just to keep the black man and woman from understanding the truth and knowing who we are and knowing that we're living out the Abrahamic covenant. However, they couldn't keep the truth hidden forever. And they couldn't stop the Son of Man or the messenger of the covenant from coming and bringing us taking the wheel from taking the messenger of the covenant from coming in picking up from where Elijah left off. I'm gonna say it like that. But coming with the message of the covenant with a super bomb, a super atom bomb, or a super atom bomb that he brought with the covenant. He brought this unsealed atom bomb, the unsealed scriptures, the Injil, that gives us 360 degrees of knowledge. That's the 22 chapters divided by 7, which is 3.14. That's pi, which is circumference of a circle. The circumference of a circle. Well, it's the equals a circle, 360 degrees. So this mind power that the messenger of the covenant brought with him, he unlocked the 7 seals. He has the Injil key. He has given us the knowledge of many things, and is going to give us the knowledge, teaching us the how the books are math, and how math, the how pressure work is everything in the universe operates on pressure, and we're operating in uh, a pressure thought, which is thought atmosphere. It's a thought atmosphere that controls all atmospheres that are controlled all by pressure. So we are being reminded of the Abrahamic covenant, which Master Farad Muhammad shared with us, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad shared with us, that we lived out the Abrahamic covenant, the 400 years. We are the true seed of Abraham, and we're living out Exodus. So we're living out the Exodus, and now the messenger of the covenant came and reminded us of the covenant, because they have tried everything. They have put a counter intelligence program together. They have sent Louis Eugene Grounds, the chief demon, the Aaron of the scriptures. They set out and tried to get us to they've combated or sent in Sunniism to eliminate the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or the lessons that was given to him from Master Farad Muhammad. He's trying to share with us that Islam, to accept this Islam that hasn't been able to do anything in the last 500 years with this Caucasian white man. They haven't been able to do not one thing to stop what the Caucasian white man is doing. So that wasn't sent to us for this time. Prophet Muhammad wasn't sent to us, sent for us. So it said, in that day I will send you Elijah, and that's exactly what happened. Now we're in the time that the messenger of the covenant had described this time and he's moving what is it? He's moving super fast. His mind is moving. Fastest mind moving on the planet. His mind is, so let's say his mind is moving somewhere near 30 say 30 billion miles per second. This is average. He said is about 24. 24 minutes. Hold up. So he's been teaching us what's going to take place, why it's taking place, and how to get ready for what's going to take place, giving us the knowledge of ourselves and the knowledge of all things that we wasn't even shared, that no one else has even spoke on. So coming up out of 2020, letting us know that 2020 the plague was going to begin. Don't take anything. Keep yourself in good health. It's going to pass us over. All those with the blood of the lambs is going to pass over. Don't fret. Even if you get the plague, it's not going to kill you. Just don't worry about it. It's to kill the firstborn of Egypt. That's the elderly, which is it's decimated their countries. Now, immediately when that trans was taking place, he had been sharing it for 30 years anyway. Prior to that, however, this time of the abomination of desolation, we have been sharing how important or this Jcpoa was, and that it is the event that is going to trigger the abomination of desolation, and consistently sharing that Iran was not going to comply and go back up under the foot of the nations. The unsealed scriptures share the angel let us know that they're not going back. So this is in 2020. So we go through 2020, 2020, 2021. But it said, when you see Israel surrounded by armies, know that its destruction is near or nigh. And this Jcpoa is your cue, or your it's the switch, but it's your guide to know that's gonna keep you in track or on time, to know when to expect to keep you because we don't know the day or the hour. However, you know that this JCPOA, now that you can see it, that all these nations, you didn't know, now you wasn't expecting the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia, and 6 other Sunni nations to make an alliance. Muslim nations, Sunni Muslim nations, made an alliance with false Israel. And Saudi Arabia has strengthened its ties with the beast, with America. And Britain. They're providing the fuel. So they're all now lined up, and their common enemy is Iran. However, they've made this union or this alliance under a document called the Abrahamic Accord. Now, what's the Accord of Abraham? So, the Abrahamic Accord, when Abraham is spoke on, it's got to be talking about Abraham's seed. Now, who's the true seed of Abraham? What's the accord? The accord that they have been in cahoots with, of keeping and going to go to war and try to keep us off from returning to our land. So false Israel has our name. They took our identity. The House of Saud is sitting in our land. These other nations, they don't want us back. They fear what's going to take place, but they're going to receive what they have coming. They can't get away from it. They have made a alliance, or laid their bed with nations that are going to be taken out. They laid their bed with false Israel, Satan himself. So this JCPOA that, like we've shared, is what you should be seeing to identify this war, what was going to be the spark of this war in the Middle East, that the JCPOA. So now they said they're going to handle this. When Joe Biden spoke, he said he still thinks that the best way to handle this JCPOA talks, if they can get Iran to speak on it, is diplomatically. However, we are out to thwart, and we'll use military force if we have to, if they're not going to reside or come back to the JCPOA. We have not heard anything spoken about the JCPOA. They have tried to covertly attack Iran's nuclear program and bomb it. However, they were their COVID mission was um, um, they was caught red-handed. It was unsuccessful, and all the agents that they sent in were detained. So we know what the spark is. We know that this Jcpoa what is the reason that's going to spark this war. So the Jcpoa is no longer being spoke of in. There's no more talks being talked about the Jcpoa. There's no talk about re-engaging into a diplomatic conversation or nothing. What's been spoken on, everything that is to be shared about the Jcpoa, Iran let it be known up front. We have 60% uranium enriched uranium to 60% and can enrich uranium to 90 in just a short time. We have the capabilities and the knowledge to produce the technology to produce the bomb. We also have, they didn't say this, but it's a fact. If we need a warhead, we can get one from Russia. If we need a warhead, we can get one from China. We have a great relationship with them both. Now, we have the technology to build a bomb. No more talk about the Jcpoa has come back up. You haven't heard a word about the Jcpoa. False Israel has been quiet. This is that switch that is to let you know, brothers and sisters, where we are in time, and especially where we're at in this abomination of desolation, the war that will take place for Michael and his angels and the dragon and his angels. Michael being Master Farah Muhammad, and his angels is Iran and Syria. The dragon and his angels are the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia, Britain and America, false Israel, and these other 6 nations, these other 6 Sunni nations that have made an alliance against the true seed of Abraham in this Abraham Accord with Satan. So that's the war that's about to spark any moment. That's the abomination of desolation. This war is when America and Britain is going to be kicked out the Middle East. This war is when the House of Saud is taken out. Those other Muslim nations that joined with Satan, they're going to get theirs. However, false Israel is going to be sieged and taken out, destroyed. And that is going to be the shock of the hour when the world see that Saudi Arabia, Master Fard Muhammad, and Syria, when they see America and Britain has been kicked out the Middle East and Saudi Arabia has been taken down, that oil that these nations was dependent upon is no longer available from Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia is knocked out. False Israel is been destroyed. That's gonna shock the hearts of many, and a lot of people gonna just drop dead from the reality that what they've just seen, the shock of the hour. And we're in it, brothers and sisters. We're in any moment, any day now. That's why we have to listen, understand, and we're preparing. We don't know the day or the hour, but we know what's the sign that the spark, where is sparking is. So when that spark has been lit, it's like a fuse. When you light it, you know it's the fuse, and the bomb is sitting. You got the bomb sitting here, and you got this ignition, and it's been sparked, and it's coming. You know it's sparked. The spark is sparked. You just don't know when it's gonna go boom or when it's gonna blow, but you know that this is the spark that you're looking for. That spark is the Jcpoa, and that is that's no longer an issue. So we know military war is on the horizon. They're going to use military force any day. They don't have any time in between. The region there, Saudi, the House of Saud, these other 6 nations of Sunnis, false Israel, America, Britain, they have to move expeditiously. And you haven't heard a word. Their counter program, their covert attack failed. They haven't responded at all about this covert attack. They know that they must do this. They have to go and utilize military force immediately, because there's nothing else that they can speak on, because it's been made clear out in the opening the capabilities and what Iran is able to do, produce, and they have the technology to do it as soon as they please. So we know where we are. I can't tell you the day or the second or the minute. However, that spark has been ignited. In any day, any moment, Michael and his angels are going to attack the house of Sod, the dragon and his angels, and we will be in the war in the middle of the Middle East, in heaven, that is called the Abomination of Desolation. That will be the shock of the hour. That war will be the spark to the war of Armageddon. Now, brothers and sisters, when you see this, it's going to be alarming. But no, after the shock of the hour, they're going to attack us. We have to move expeditiously, come together, and we have to unify in Chicago, Detroit, and Indiana. These are areas that we're going to have to get to. So, keep that in mind. There will be more information coming soon, but we can't give too much because they'll be sitting there waiting to eliminate us, to take us out. But no, there's no one else giving or speaking on the abomination of desolation. There's no one telling you why and what, when, and what cause, what is the spark, what to look for, who's involved. And we've been telling you before they got involved, before they made this covenant, or before they made their alliance, before Sod, you didn't know, but we was telling you that a couple of years, you would have never thought the house of Sod or Saudi Arabia was going to be in bed with their open enemy, or with false Israel, their so-called open enemy. These other sick Muslim nations. So we ain't watching the weather. You go get with Lon, the Louis Farrakhan, the chief demon Aaron. They got you worshiping with these Sunnis, worshiping Sunnism, worshiping the golden calf, saying we ain't going home because he's riding the golden calf's butt. He's riding the ass. He's riding on the golden calf. They're the one feeding him. We not going home. That's what they want. These are your enemies, and they're about to get taken out. The abomination of desolations, brothers and sisters. The time is up on us. Any moment now, any day now. The spark has already been laid. So, the abomination of desolation, we are in it. This is the time that we are in. We are in this time of the abomination of desolation. Any day, any moment, the war in the Middle East is going to spark. It's nothing. It's already. It's what's the word? It's going. I can't think of the word. However, it's going any day. Any day now. The abomination of desolation. Know for sure, brothers and sisters, when you see this, no one else telling. No one else. No one. No one's talking about. No one's giving you this type of direct information of what's going down, who's coming, who's involved, and who's the victor before it even happens. No one. However, this is the time that we're in. We've explained the spark that was going to start it, and that's what's going to spark the war in the Middle East, in heaven, between Michael and his angels. So knowing that, seeing that, knowing that's where what's taking place, the abomination of desolation is the time. It's upon us. And with that, I'm going to bring this segment to a close. Know of a surety, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, her destruction is near. I'm going to greet you in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.